I've got a good video for you guys today. We're going to go through some of my Zap Lalo attacks and I'm going to show you guys how you can plan to break bases down from scratch. And we're just going to go through all the fundamentals required on a variety of bases. So we're going to go through some diamond bases, anti-2 style bases, you name it. And yeah, the army link will be in the description as always. I'm just going to talk about the hero equipment a little bit. You will see me switching around with my hero equipment in the attacks I'm going to show you. Sometimes I'll have the frozen arrow, sometimes I'll have the healer puppet, and likewise I will sometimes have the healing tome and sometimes I'll have the life gem on my warden. But that's about it. So yeah, let's just go into some attacks and let's talk about how I break bases down. First base I'm going to show you guys, it's this anti-2 style setup with a lot of damage away from the town hall, I should say. And of course we still have the clan castle waiting for us away from the damage, and overall it's a pretty good base, I would say. And you can't really claim every single thing that the rage tower is powering up with your zaps, of course. That is how base building does work. So I'm just going to show you guys what you should probably think about when you have to zap. I'm sure you have already guessed we're going to use our zaps to kind of reduce the damage a little bit, and we're going to enable either our siege or our heroes to go ahead and get more value. And I'm sure you guys are thinking it's an anti-2 style base. I have to probably even use a blimp on this one, and that's what I was thinking too. And I'm going to teach you guys one more thing. You need to think on your feet a little bit. And for starters, let's just see. For example, if I had to pick something to zap in this area, what would you go for? And there could be multiple correct answers, obviously, but this solution that I went for, it's one where I like to just zap out mainly the X-bow, and that just goes ahead and allows me to get a flame flinger going for the rest of the value over here. And it's just a neat trick. You don't need to be the most greedy with your value. Sometimes I have just zapped an X-bow with the rage tower because that's all I could get, but it opened up a nice flame flinger to just go and grab everything else in the area. So this is exactly what I'm saying. So now we've made a hole over here. I know my flame flinger will mostly reduce this area, and this is just trash over here. So that's already a lot of the base we don't have to worry about, and you can see exactly what I was talking about. So I'm just going to push my heroes into the remaining bit of damage that's really left on the base. So yeah, just gotta funnel our king and our queen. Of course, giving them that protection. This ice golem gives a very nice freeze to allow my second wall break to come in just right about now, despite of his rage tower being active. I can't ask for much more than that. And yeah, that's just gone ahead and broken up that entire compartment, and this king goes to grab the most insane value I've ever seen. He deleted the entire rage compartment. And yeah, you'll see I dropped the skeleton spell, and note I do not have a poison spell in this army. So that is obviously a bit of a problem, seeing that we have a slightly kind of a damage CC. And also note, I'm trying to just get this mortar distracted and taken down simultaneously. Just a small little thing. And you'll notice, at this point, I'm okay, you know what is even left on the back end of this base? I don't have a blimp anymore, remember? So this means my heroes, at this point, I feel my heroes need to be able to grab the town hall. I would have usually started the Lalo early from this area, because this is all that's really left, right? Not much for my Lalo to begin. And if you watch my previous Zap Lalo videos, you will know I do talk about starting the Lalo very early. But over here, I make a bit of an exception, and you will see I even have my Royal Champion join in right as the skeleton spell is ready to wear off. And that's because I know I'm going to have to burn my queen ability to take down that dragon over there. I don't have the poison spell. And you'll also see I'm going to be a little more flexible with my spells as well. Might as well dedicate the rage to these guys. They're going to be able to remove that last multi-inferno as well as the town hall with their abilities. And what is even left for my Lalo? Honestly, look at this. There's nothing threatening except for this one scatter shot. But my flame flinger is going for that as well. So really cannot ask for anything more. I've literally just spammed the rest of my balloons. Just put the warden down over here to get those headhunters to kill the enemy Royal Champion. Nothing more, really, nothing more. You can see this is absolutely crushed. There's no resistance left to the balloons. There's nothing left to worry about whatsoever. It is a done deal. So one way or the other, you need to break your bases down. I just kept doing things on the fly. So now if my king and queen were unable to punch into this compartment, right, I would have just kind of waited for them to pull the CC and allowed them to deal with it, and I would have tried to Lalo through this area to try to give my queen just that much more life, and of course I would have joined the Royal Champion with them as well. So that's just all you really need. And it's that simple. It's that simple. You just have to kind of act on the fly. Like, okay, I saw my queen was going to be able to take the town hall down if she had just a bit more help. So I just sacrificed my royal champion as well with her. That's all you need to do sometimes. Just act on the fly and you can absolutely demolish bases. So let's just move on to the next one. These bases are also one of my favorite types to just go ahead and get, and it's for the same reason. You can easily go ahead and grab. Well, usually, like you can easily go ahead and grab whatever expos are there in those invis compartments with your zaps, and it opens up a flame flinger for you, and it's just a matter of rotating around that point, right? So just for simplicity, like you can already see, I talked about it, like just go ahead and zap out those expos. I definitely missed some zaps on the multi inferno, but it doesn't matter too much because like my flame fling is just gonna go ahead and help with cleaning that entire area up either way. So now we can just go ahead and practically think that this entire quadrant has gone. So we still have 3 quadrants left on this base, and you can see over here I am dedicating my heroes to go ahead and just go ahead and grab the town hall. Or rather, I should only say my king, because my queen is going to do something interesting over here. It's a neat little trick I like to use on these Zap Lalo attacks. You will notice one way or the other, either you can pass your Lalo through the Invis tower, and it's just because your heroes have already taken so much more of the base down. And there are some cases over here where you can just go ahead and now look at this, right? Like my king is going to be able to take out the town hall compartment all by himself. No problems at all for him. And my queen is safe and sound, and she's just going to go ahead and be able to kind of just go off to the left over here, and you can already see what I'm talking about. I've given her a wall break towards this dangerous core over here, and I'm sure you guys have guessed it already. I'm just gonna go ahead and sacrifice her to only trigger the Invis tower, because that's all I really need her for. As soon as that Invis tower is dealt with, or rather I should say as soon as that Invis tower is triggered, right? Like what is even gonna stop me at this point? I honestly should have popped her ability much sooner, so she could have actually taken the scatter shot down before the Invis tower popped. But over here we're just gonna go ahead and compensate for it. Like I'm just gonna protect whatever I can, just spam this rage, because like why not anyway? It is completely done. That entire compartment doesn't even exist. And you can see like what is this bottom compartment even gonna do? It's just like a monolith, and like these sweepers which are so late into the attack, like we already have so much of force coming in from over here. Honestly, not much we can do. And of course, the same tip of starting your Lalo early. Notice how I started so early that despite of my queen being in the face of all that danger, I managed to keep her alive. That's just crazy. So yeah, just do keep in mind you need to start your Lalo phase early. It would have been fine if the queen went down in this case, but maybe it would have caused some problems for my royal champion, because my archer queen went ahead and dealt with the ice golems that my king could not deal with. And remember, I don't have a poison spell in this army, so it becomes even more important to have the timing down correctly. If you have a poison spell, well and good. But as you can see in my attacks, I do feel that skeleton spell is useful, and most of the times you run it into ice golem clan castles anyway. So it's all right. It's not the worst. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, pretty standard attack over here. The only trick is how I dealt with those invisible towers, and that's pretty much it. After that, it's just free for the Lalo. You guys saw it. Really, not much for me to talk about. Let's just move on to the next one. This is kind of like a mix between a taser and a box base, and I'm sure you guys might have also seen this from some tournament circuits as well. It's a very dangerous looking base. It's a well isolated core. Like you can see, it doesn't have good access. There's so many void compartments around the entire thing. So we are going to have to be very careful with what we zap, and accordingly how we also decide to pass our balloons into this. So that also being said, we still have this entire bottom area also to worry about, completely voided, completely having void compartments around it. And yeah, so just a little something I guess I'm gonna do on this one is have some zaps to go and enable my heroes to get more value. And I know it sounds a little weird, but I'm sure you will slowly understand what I mean after you see the zaps. And more importantly, like notice how the sweepers are also pointing on this base. It is very unusual for box bases, because these box bases usually have sweepers pointing like downwards like this, and we're going to take full advantage of that. So that already gives you guys a hint as well of what I'm trying to talk about. And I'm gonna go ahead and have some zaps to mainly take out that sweeper, and you can already see the value around that sweeper. I'm gonna go ahead, remove the Inferno, that Ricochet Cannon, and that Rage Tower, and obviously the sweeper that comes with it as well. So you can see over here, we've made a hole over here. We need to have our heroes or at least something expand upon it from like this side, right? So you can see what I'm trying to go for. And yeah, queen and my king will be able to go ahead and grab the town hall, because like what is even waiting for them? They'll also be able to pull the clan castle. Not really much for me to talk about, so let's just wait for these guys to go ahead and grab that value. If you guys want, you can just try to pay attention to how I decide to use my resources and try to funnel these guys out. So literally just trying to save my queen ability as much as I possibly can over here. Sadly, I mean it's very very close, yeah. And I'm just gonna pop my king ability so that he hopefully starts taking the tanking from that ground expo over there. As you can see, like my queen is literally so low on health, and I'm doing whatever I possibly can to just make sure her ability stays intact so that I can just go ahead and use it for the town hall kill. Really not much else for me to really say, and we're just going to wait for these guys to go ahead and grab whatever value they possibly can. So yeah, as soon as this town hall is down, I know I am in a spot where I can consider starting the next phase of the attack. And you'll notice I haven't enabled a flame flinger on this one. So, and I'm sure you can already see at the bottom of the screen I have a stone slammer, and I'm sure you guys can also slowly see the pathing coming in. Like we have like mostly this much of damage to deal with, and you can see exactly how I'm going to start to deal with it. I'm sprinkling in those balloons like this, and we're slowly but surely going to have these guys converge to be able to easily just traverse through this entire area. And you'll also notice one isolated royal champion just coming in at the very bottom of the base to help clear all of these out, so my balloons do not think of even coming down over here. They only have to worry about passing through this area. We gave them the haste, we gave them the rage, they've gone and taken care of that entire rage tower compartment. And yeah, this Tesla farm was a little unexpected, I'm not gonna lie, but luckily we had like just enough balloons left to kind of help out with that area. But either way, I'm sure you guys can also tell by now, it is another crushed base for us. We still have our stone slammer intact. Our royal champion is low on health, but doesn't really matter at this point. It's just that multi inferno that's really left. And once again, the importance of starting your Lalo early. You can see it right over here. Queen is going strong with full health. She actually went ahead and cleared whatever trash was there and provided a bit of support, you could say. You can't have much more than that, really. It's just that simple. You just need to learn to multitask like that and understand where to use your zaps depending on the base. So our priority on this one was giving more value for our heroes and making sure that they don't really like die out before reaching the town hall. You guys saw my queen was literally like practically on 1 HP for a very long time, and we still somehow managed to save her ability until she reached the town hall. And as soon as she did that, we just started our Lalo. We did not even pay attention to our queen anymore. I myself did not even talk about the queen at all, and look at that, like we just completely crushed it. We knew that most of our balloons needed to be sent for this area anyway. This was literally like isolated area while my loons were dealing with the top area, and that's the whole gist of it. Just have your troops cross tank for each other. It'll help you out so much for your Lalo attacks. It's a tip I cannot recommend enough. And yeah, that's that's about it. We'll just move on to the next one. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 more hits for you guys. Alright, let's just move on to some CWL attacks, and I want to show you guys how you can be a little bit more creative, especially when it comes to planning out war attacks. We're not only doing Legend League attacks, but I want to show you guys how you can think a little bit outside the box as well. So over here, it's a much more difficult base actually. You can already tell I cannot get both the expos with the zaps on this one. They're well placed over here, and not only that, we have sweepers protecting these Invis tower compartments. So even if I try to use the same tricks I showed you guys, there's a lot of things that are not going to work out. So namely, I cannot use my queen ability to trigger the second Invis tower, and I cannot get a flame flinger down with the help of zaps over here. So I can only get one of these 2 expos, but I cannot get both of them, which means a flame flinger is impossible on this base. And still, there are some tricks that you can use, and I'm gonna gladly show you guys what I'm talking about. So again, this is only for war, so do take these things with a pinch of salt. You can already see some slight adjustments. I have an Invis spell instead of a skeleton spell, and I've gone ahead and removed this entire top half of this compartment. So sure, it seems a little weird right now, but I've gone ahead and done it. Either way, it is kind of like one Invis tower compartment, just conveniently dealt with. So I'm sure you guys can already kind of tell what is coming up next. I'm gonna more or less do the same thing. The king is responsible for the town hall takedown. It is the same principle as the earlier Invis tower base that we had set up, and over here I think one very cool thing I want to show you guys is the equipment I have on my queen. The giant arrow, literally the giant arrow. I think over here I made a mistake. What I was planning on doing was I was planning on placing her such that she could have shot the giant arrow through this sweeper over here, and that would have also gone ahead and triggered that Invis tower for me. So one way or the other, I had a plan to use her ability to trigger that Invis tower. Very neat trick. And yeah, you'll still see me trigger the Invis tower, but I will not get that sweeper down. So let's just do what we can over here. I'm just going to use one freeze because remember, I don't have the skeleton spell anymore. And I need to protect myself against a single inferno. More importantly, my queen cannot even go invisible on her own to dish out that high volley of damage for the town hall takedown, but either way we get it down, and we've also more importantly still triggered that Invis tower over here. So yeah, don't waste any time. My queen will go down over here, but once again, don't waste any time because we want that we want to make sure that the Invis tower does not reset. You'll also see I have a heal tome on my warden on this one instead of the life gem, and yeah, we're just going to try to catch as many of these guys as we can in our ability. Just freeze up that sweeper one time and give them the haste so that they can just push through this entire compartment, and that should be it. Even the balloons that came from over here, those guys are able to trail in and avoid the sweeper. And I don't think I talked about this, but look at that, I somehow managed to remove those remaining defenses over here. And the trick was very simple. I just waited for my king to go ahead and grab all this value, and the reason for my zap spells, if you go back and watch it, it's only that I removed heavy air targeting damage. So I only left a ground X-bow and a multi-inferno over here. So a stone slammer just easily went in and grabbed whatever was really left. Really simple, and look at how overwhelming this last bit is. I cannot ask for much more than this. Like, sure, we have multi-infernos, 2 air defenses over here waiting for us, but really nothing is going to stop these guys at this point. It's completely crushed. Yeah, we still have a lava hound intact on that air defense. It's only just now gone, but a little too late. It's the last defense remaining. Of course, we still have a royal champion ability as well. This was a trickier Invis tower style. There were a lot of tricks I had to definitely employ, but don't worry, if I did find this in Legend League, I think I would have still tried to push my Lalo through this area without getting that Invis tower triggered. And all you have to do is just have more loons kind of trailing in behind those guys, so that those guys can be the ones to kind of easily take out the Invis tower. And some of the balloons that do go ahead and split from this pack actually start coming back as well, like this. So you just need to place like a rage around over here and like a haste over here. That's all you really need, and these bases are they're just done. Like, Zap Lalo completely breaks them. So yeah, just a bit of an innovative trick I guess you can also consider using in your wars if you would like to, and definitely more useful when you have the sweepers protecting those Invis towers. Again, just tiny tricks. I'm just hoping they do help you guys out somewhere or the other. We'll do one more attack for you guys, why not? One more attack in CWL, and another modification I want to show you guys. You'll notice I have 6 saps, not 7 on this one, and I'm sure that already gives you a hint of what I'm hopefully trying to do on this base. I believe this is a base that is also run by Navi on one of the accounts. I'm not sure who runs it, but I'm sure one of their members use this base. So yeah, how do we break this base down? It is very well spread out, and once again, lots of void compartments protecting very heavy defenses. So we have our work cut out for us, and we have these unusual sweepers as well. Look at how they're protecting this value. So you obviously cannot start your Lalo from this side of the base, as you wish you could, but you cannot do it on this base. And moreover, we have poison towers also protecting all that value. So it could be a tricky base, but we're going to break it down for you guys. So Remember how I use my zaps to enable a flame flinger? We're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing on this one. I'm sure you can already see the value just waiting for us. If we get zaps over here, look at this, man. Like, it's just insane value for a flame flinger. So it's already like this much of the base that we do not have to worry about at all. So now that being said, how can we just converge on the rest of the base such that we can deal with everything that's really left without having too much resistance from the sweepers? And I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of time to think about it while the rest of this attack does play, and hopefully you guys start seeing the same thing that I'm talking about as this attack is going on. And I'm sure you've already guessed it by now, hopefully, that I'm gonna have my king just go ahead and remove this little area over here. Like, sure, it's a multi-inferno and a poison tower. I'm happy with that value. Honestly, he'll even pull the clan castle and deal with it. And that's more than enough for me. It's more than enough for me. He provides a little bit of tanking from these expos over here. And you'll also notice I started my queen for the town hall takedown as well over here. I was thinking, I'm just going to talk about this a little bit, right? I'm using the frozen arrow on her for this attack, not the healer puppet, because I was hoping that she could freeze the town hall sufficiently enough to not use her ability, and then I could use her ability later on to get these buildings behind the town hall. That is what I had in mind. That part of the plan did fail, I will admit it, but you'll also notice I'm not wasting the king's value over here. I'm noticing he is definitely doing a great job of tanking for me, and I'm using my other smaller tanks over here to start my royal champion super duper early. Now, you'll notice the advantage of me simply having 6 zap on this one. I had a poison spell to deal with the clan castle, and I still have the skeleton spell over here, and that royal champion is going to be able to grab a lot of value. So yeah, you'll once again see I started my Lalo early, again with the heal tome on this one, because just look at all of this damage waiting for me. So I thought, you know what, there's not too much of damage I have to deal with on the approach, so I might as well think of having like more sustainability later on into the attack. And yeah, just pop this warden ability, and notice how we're approaching behind the sweeper over here. As soon as that sweeper goes down, rather as soon as it's ready to go down, we can do the approach that I was talking about. And at this point, it's just a matter of sprinkling these guys, and it really doesn't matter at all. It's completely broken. I'm sure you can tell as well. We have sufficiently distracted the scatter shot such that it does no damage to us. And one more interesting detail I would definitely want to point out: these super minions in my clan castle. I feel they are better for Lalo attacks when you're definitely going to use a flame flinger, but obviously for Legend League, do not use super minions. Take a Yeti blimp. You take Yetis, and definitely take a blimp. You never know when you're going to need one. So yeah, that's that's about it. Like, you just need to be sure to start one phase of the attack right after the next. So don't wait for the phases to end. Kind of have that overlap between them. You saw, like, my king was getting this value over here. I made sure to grab the town hall as well at the same time, because the queen really was not having any problems. She could have easily soloed that compartment, and she did exactly that. So yeah, we just started the royal champion before the king died. We started the Lalo before the royal champion started taking too much of damage, and that's all you really need. That's it's just that simple. As long as you get that cross tanking down, as long as you're comfortable with starting each phase early, and most importantly, if you're comfortable to funnel your heroes to actually get the value that they can possibly get, you will smash every base. I can guarantee that. Just take these few tips in mind that I've talked about in this video, and of course all of my previous Zap Lalo videos. You will break bases down. So yeah, that's about it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.